Hi, my name is Michael Williams. I'm here representing Bulldog Sustainability Alliance, a registered student organization of this university. I'm also a member of student government and very involved in my community. I've been a Michigan resident for 34 years. First and foremost, I'm not going to say anything you haven't heard anymore. So I'm going to try and keep this pretty brief. This isn't something you guys usually do, holding these public hearings. There needs to be more. People have made that very clear. You have heard the voices of Michigan tonight say that to you. You need to hear that, and you need to respect that. Furthermore, Nestle, as been pointed out about Peter Brabeck, his comments about water being a human right, not being a human right. Nestle has gone out of their way to make entire web pages dedicated to clearing his name of things he has very clearly stated. We are not to commoditize our human right, especially for Nestle, of all freaking people. We have a record here in Michigan. The DEQ's decision is supposed to be based on fact. That's on your sheets. We have a record. We have precedent. We have court rulings. Those are your facts. We have rivers that have dried up. We have stream beds that have been exposed. That's your proof. A model is not proof. I want to speak to everybody here. I think it's too bad that we had to ignore the 4:30 Q&A and just start at 7 because everybody already had to leave.
Right.
But let me say to the few people that are remaining, boycott Nestle. Tell every one of your friends why they need to boycott Nestle. We are the water protectors. Water is life. I'm concerned about the censorship that has gone on here tonight. First and foremost, we have a right to protest. We have a right to speak up. And we are not being allowed signs in our university. We have rights guaranteed by the university as members of student organizations to free speech on campus. But because the state is here, we're not going to abide by that tonight. I don't know what that's about. I want to know why $200 to remove this much water is what the amount is, when the average Michigan household pays at least $200 for their year's supply of water, when this amount of water would supply every household in Michigan with water for a year. How does that add up? This is your job. Do it.
Yeah, sorry we were taken down again. Please share the new feed.
Good job, good job.
Hannah Fisher.
Good evening. Thank you so much for holding this public hearing, but I would like to register my complaint. I first heard about this water extraction from Well 101 6 months ago. I just happened to see an article on MLive, and I've been trying to track what's happening with that, and I was waiting for a public hearing, and lo and behold, 6 months later. Right. And I really appreciate what my sister said from the community college, that this is really important to have these public hearings and to build community and to let us speak. And Mr. Roycraft, at the beginning you gave us an address and you went through it really fast. Other people are going to want to weigh in, and where can I get the address again?
Yeah, I could give that to you.
Okay. And I think you said when you were reading the rules, you said the number of the comments aren't considered. And that's a little puzzling to me, because I think we, the people, we are here, and the numbers should count for something. I'm from East Lansing, and I had to skip dinner and race up here to be here in time, and so I think my voice has some value, and I think it should count. So I guess I just want to say that I was raised rural, and I have a fierce love of place. I have a fierce love of the Great Lakes. And when I hear about Nestle, and when I hear about Enbridge and these other corporations, in a way, I feel sad for them that they don't have a sacred connection to the earth and to water and to the sacredness of this space. And for Mr. Feiner, I'm trying to read from way back here. I don't know if you experience a sacred connection with space, but I want to encourage you to go and sit by the stream and sit in the environment and let the healing power of nature assist you in this decision.
Yeah.
Because I have a fierce love of place, and that's why I came up here tonight, because while I think $200 is not, I think it's a joke, my complaint isn't so much about the ridiculous $200, but the fact that they're asking for 400 gallons a minute.
Right.
That is not acceptable. I
That's
ask
right.
that you deny the application. And I also really resonated with my sister from Detroit that said that this is a moral issue.
That's right.
So thank you again. That's fine.
Ashia Sonnenberg.
Glad you know she's here.
Alan Weinberg. Kristen Sonnenberg. Andrew Nowicki.
This is what happens when you run the meeting this way.
Yeah, that's fine.
Hello. So I am a zoology and environmental science major at Michigan State University, and I'm here representing Michigan for Evolution. The first thing I'd like to point out is that I've been reading biological theories for quite a few years now, and I've noticed quite a few of them are biased. And if you study this stuff and you look at them, you can pretty obviously point out some of the issues. For example, I've seen people who try to pass off a large mammal and bird survey as being an entire environmental impact survey, but you need to include quite a bit more in a survey than that. When I'm studying yours, or at least the survey that Nestle submitted, I'm noticing that there is a critical lack of wetland studies, and specifically vernal ponds and amphibian populations.
Yes.
Amphibians are environmental indicators, and I don't see any mention at all in that survey on amphibians. Which actually, reviewing your papers here that I got at this meeting, it says that it's required by law that you do an environmental impact study on wetlands. So absolutely, you can't even consider this decision until you look at those wetlands, do an impact study on those. Vernal ponds, a lot of people probably here probably don't know what vernal ponds are. They're a body of water that fills up in the spring and drains in the fall. I think even a little small, a minor divot in those kind of ponds could make the habitat no longer suitable for, let's say, a tiger salamander that requires at least 3 foot of water to be able to breed its eggs successfully. You need to look into that. You need to at least study and let me know what the impacts of those populations are going to be. The next, I'd like to bring out that if you do fail to account for everything during this study and you create something that isn't sustainable, I ask who exactly is going to end up paying for the lack of that being sustainable. I'm 22 years old, and millennials are already the most qualified, most overworked, and most underpaid generation this country has ever seen.
That's right.
And if someone's going to have to pay to restore that habitat, which is a field that I'm kind of going into in a way,
Yeah.
I'd rather millennials not be the ones who have to bear that cost, because we're already bearing the cost for quite a bit already. So please, I would like to see a nonpartisan study, and I'd like to see wetlands, vernal ponds, and amphibian impacts included in that study, please.
Edward Babachek. Carl Fredrickson. Chuck Tennant. Ken Bridenberg.
For everyone asking why the room's so empty, you can understand right now.
been working with Nestle probably since 1999, been elected official since 99, been elected 5 times since then. They've been here before they started. They've done a lot of testing. We all know, we all agree that water is important. We have all said that. I've seen their graphs, what you guys think is computer models. They've turned into regular graphs that do actually dictate what happens. It goes up and down like this. You guys say they do it in the high, they read them in the high spot, they read them in the low spot too. If you look at those graphs, we've held the water, the feet to the water pretty good. They didn't have they kept on relying on Big Rapids water rain gauge. We made them put a water rain gauge out there, so they had accurate information out there. We developed a arbitration board when they first came, and said if anybody's well went dry, that we would look into it and see why. We've yet had one complaint on that in all the years that they've been here. You know, they're only providing the demand that the consumers require and are wanting, so we can't blame it on Nestle.
How much do you get paid to stay here?
I've grown up here. I've lived here better than 50 years. I've milked cows for 35 years.
You should care more.
What's that?
You should care more.
Well, the models that are detected, I think, sustain what could happen or could be. We just happen to be an environmental resource in this state where we can, it can be sustainable.
You think so?
We're fortunate for that.
For how long?
Right.
So with all the, and one other thing I guess is, this isn't all Nestle's testing. They actually have a third independent party that does their testing for them. So
Wonder what they are.
Where's numbers at?
And I do not see in the last 20 years that we've been watching them and working with them that they've had any negative effect on the water here in Mecosta County that they've withdrawn here. So I guess that's about all I have to add. They've been a good partner in the neighborhood, but like I say, they're not the enemy. They're just supplying a demand for the consumer.
Yeah, the demand in China.
Elizabeth Storm.
I just have one question where public officials commenting on behalf of Nestle, but
I have to put my comments now. I honestly didn't think that you would call my name. It's been a long evening for everybody, and I just appreciate you being here, taking the time to have this hearing for us. I was actually born in Iowa City, Iowa, but raised here in the Great Lakes state of Michigan, where we are fortunate to have all of these resources at our fingertips. My grandfather was a coal miner and died when he was 44 years old. So my family's gone through 2 generations of mineral rights in this state and has observed family health issues because of bad choices that companies have made here. Tonight I'm just really hoping to point out to everyone, every local township or county in the state pays for infrastructure on water pipes. And we have a blessing in Michigan to be able to drive within an hour to a lake or a river or a pond to be able to use watercrafts. I prefer electric to gas, but okay, and sailboats. But the point is that we can't get away from it. We're all connected. These pipes in Emmett County are connected to the ones in Ingham County because you didn't create it. My dad didn't create it. His grandfather didn't create it. We all put these pipes in together. We are all connected. We can't get away from each other, and we should all be getting a tax credit, a check at the end of the year for these minerals that are being sold in Alaska. They get a check at the end of the year for being domiciled in the last frontier. They are given $1,500, whether you make $10 an hour or not. It's just a bonus check because they are taking oil that we all use for our cars. I use it for my snow blower. I use it for to cut trees down because I prefer the strength of gasoline. I'm sorry. But the point is that it is a balance, and I respect that. I hope you respect that. I hope you make the right choice. I hope you deny this permit. I hope you stop draining our lakes. Do the actual due diligence that you are required to do. Live upright. Live upright. That is the hardest way to live. Thank you.
Melissa Collins.
Why don't you call more names so they can line up?
Well, I only got a couple cards left.
Well, you might as well call them off, see if they're here or not.
Okay, we got Jim Moreno and Justin McCauley.
Right. They're not here.
I didn't think I was going to get a chance to talk tonight either. Sweet. All right. First thing I have to say is a little bit of a quote. The earth is not given to us by our parents, it is loaned to us by our children's children. We have a complete and utter, we have the burden, the joy, and the immense responsibility as people of this state, of this earth, to protect that water. If you live in this state, you need to protect this water. Michigan is the earth's kidneys. The Great Lakes kidneys. It cleans the Great Lakes. The wetlands of this state clean the Great Lakes. You don't drain the wetlands. You don't have clean water if you drain the wetlands.
That's right.
Like, you really have to pay attention to what the impact is on the environment. The gentleman who brought up the point that amphibians are an indicator of the health of the ecosystem. Very accurate. If you drain the wetlands, you don't have amphibians, you don't have the health of the ecosystem. Human beings really need to get over the thought that we are the spider in the web. My friends, we are a link. It is a food web, a web of life for a reason. We're not the spider, we're a link. If we break the links, we all perish. It is our responsibility to our species to do what we can to protect this earth.
That's right.
Because if we don't, it's not just the whales, it's not just the turtles, it's not just the frogs, it's the humans too.
That's
Save
right.
the humans too. That's the point. Now, I know this is kind of a hippie tangent, but you've already heard all of the facts of why this permit needs to be denied. So I'm drawing on the power of the fact that you are a human connected to all these other humans in this web, that I request from you to not be the spider, but to be part of the web and protect this earth that we all depend on to live, to protect the water that we all depend on to live, to protect the air that we all depend on to live. These aren't things that you can just do without. We depend on these things to live. Your children, your grandchildren, and the grandchildren you'll never meet, but you'll love anyway, depend on these things to live. So I ask you to please, respectfully, deny this permit. Money is not something you can breathe, drink, or eat. Thank you.
Is it possible for other people to speak who aren't on there, as you've had so many people not be able to speak? Because I didn't sign up to speak because I didn't get here in time.
Yeah, let me just check and see. I want to go back through some of the names that. Yeah, did you fill out a card?
I can fill out a card now if you want.
Well, hang on just 1 second. Let me just go through the list. I called these earlier, but some people may have been not back from break. So Shannon Abbott from Grand Rapids. Jennifer McKay, Ethel Rivera, Lorraine Dykstra, Bill and Pat from Big Rapids, Chris Del Moroni, Barbara Beasley, Caitlin Griffiths, Tom Harrington, Mark Smith, Colette Metcalf, Gladys Williamson, Dorothy Batchelder, Aaron Kotke. Okay, sir. Should go to the microphone.
Hi there, my name is Kevin Gilbert, and I wanted to just pose you guys a question that making this decision, and this is the same question that I asked the militarized police who were using the tear gas and everything up at Standing Rock when I was there. And I asked them this question. I said, in years to come, when you've got your grandchildren sat on your knee, and there's a water crisis because of the decision that's made today, what story is it you want to be able to tell your grandchildren? Do you want to tell them that unfortunately you didn't listen to the people, you put profit over people, you put corporations over people, and made the wrong decision and allowed this permit to go through and everyone had to suffer the consequences? Or do you want to sit there proud and say, you know, actually grandson, I was part of this process, granddaughter, I was part of this process. And I was able to make sure that Nestle weren't able to come in here and make that water into a commodity right on the doorstep of Flint, right on the doorstep of Detroit, who at the time didn't even have clean drinking water, couldn't even afford their own drinking water. And I was able to make the decision and make sure that Nestle couldn't make a huge amount of money and leave the other people in their wake. So when you go to bed tonight, I want you to think about that. Thank you.
Hi, my name is Justin. Oh. Can I go ahead?
Go ahead.
I'm going to start off with a quote too. I'm fought for Standing Rock and the Native Americans, and I believe the best wisdom is learned from the Native American peoples who have lived on this land before we did. You have noticed that everything as an Indian does is in a circle, and that is because the power of the world always works in circles, and everything tries to be round. The sky is round, and I have heard that the earth is round like a ball, and so are all the stars. The wind, in its greatest power, whirls. Birds make their nest in circles, for theirs is the same religions as ours. Even the seasons form a great circle, and they're changing, and always come back to where they were. The life of man is a circle from childhood to childhood, and so it is in everything where power moves. In the beginning of all things, wisdom and knowledge were with the animals, for Chippewa, the one above, did not speak directly to man. He sent certain animals to tell men that he showed himself through the beasts, and that from them, and from the stars and the sun and moon, should man learn. All things tell of Chippewa, all things in the world. And those quotes are from Native American peoples. And I'm trying not to speak as a greedy human being from myself. I'm trying to speak from my heart and the things of our beautiful earth. And I ask you, from one human being to one human being, I implore you to please open up your eyes to this circle of life, this beautiful earth that we have before us. For you can go out and see in our earth these beautiful things. I never knew anything about the earth about 3 years ago until my friends who are survivalists started showing me things about the earth, things that I can go out and feed myself, survive off the land. And all those things are so beautiful. You can live off the land. You can walk out this door right now and find things in the grass that I've used to stop people who have cut their fingers and could have bleeded to death. Like, they're weeds. And I'm just asking you, these beautiful resources that we have, please don't let Nestle Water Company destroy our earth, our water. They're taking water from our land, and this circle of life, everything is all connected. All these plants, everything. Our trees, our rivers. If you take one thing away, have you not seen a species where one species is removed, somebody poaches them? Who in this room will not disagree with me that when you take something from our earth, that it affects something else?
That's right.
And that's truth.
That's right.
That's truth. And when you start taking our water and you remove it, it's going to affect something else. The Native Americans said that you should protect our earth and our land for 7 generations. And I'm imploring you as human beings that we should do the same, that we should protect our land for 7 generations, and that this permit, it should be denied. It's for the best of the interests of our earth and our land and for our kids. Thank you.
I registered, but my name wasn't called. My name is Jen Raymond. I'm from Clare County. statements that were made from folks in support of Nestle that Nestle somehow has some sort of vested financial interest in this community. We know that Nestle answers to their stakeholders. Nestle does not answer to the people of Michigan, does not answer to the DEQ. And as soon as it's not profitable for Nestle to be in this community, they're going to leave. And the state of Michigan and the people of Michigan are going to be left holding that bill. I'm going to keep this brief and wrap up with a personal statement. Bryce, you told me right before this meeting that you have a daughter about my age. And I want to tell you that I've made the decision and I'm afraid to have children because I cannot trust the MDEQ to protect the resources that they need to survive, and I hope that's meaningful. Thank you.
Was there anybody else that filled out a card?
Yes.
Go ahead.
My name is Linda Bradley. I am a citizen of Michigan. I'm a wife, a mother, a grandmother, and I feel that I have an obligation to protect the resources here with all my heart and soul and mind because it is my responsibility. It is what I have to, how I pay my dues for what my ancestors did. Some not so well, and some did a good job fighting for my rights. And I feel that I need to do this for my children's rights and for all of your rights. We live, as you know, in an unusual political climate at this time. Yes, and the rules and strategies in which our Constitution of the United States and the state were set up, you and I both know, due to gerrymandering and corporate interest, no longer apply. But we do have people who are public servants that are still in positions of power. For how long, we do not know. We saw Trump's budget. We know from the debacle in Flint that our current lawmakers don't give a shit about us or the people.
Come on. Woo! Yeah.
Standing Rock.
Here is your opportunity, gentlemen, to be the same role, the same public servant as those judges that stood up to that awful Muslim ban. They were our only veil. They were heroes. They used their positions of power in this terrible political climate and were able to intercede on the behalf of the people as true public servants. And I implore you, on behalf of those living now and on behalf of those living in the future, to use your power and to be those heroes that history will remember fondly. Thank you.
One question.
One question.
Yep. This has to do with the amount of water that's being permitted. My understanding is that Nestle currently has a permit for 250 gallons a minute for White Pine Springs. And you said that this permit was for 250 gallons as well. I'd like it to be on the record that the total is not 500 but 400. Is that correct?
That is correct, yes.
So the maximum withdrawal, if this is approved, is not, I mean, it looks like
400 gallons per minute.
400 gallons per minute.
Apply.
And they do have 250 now, and this is for 250. Is that correct?
No, maybe one of my staff can lay out but the total withdrawal for this application, if approved, would be 400 gallons per minute.
Thank you. And I do think that you did a good job in allowing people to express themselves. I do think, though, unfortunately, a lot of people came from Detroit and Flint, and they had to leave early. and they were not accommodated. But other than that, it was pretty good. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Okay, with that, I'm gonna. Oh,
You have one more speaker.
okay.
Okay.
And I know I haven't been the nicest this evening, but you can understand why. And all I'm gonna say is basically what everyone said the entire night. You need to say no to this, and I know that I was kind of a tough crowd, but coming from Flint, Michigan, being 17 years old, and having to be told that I can't bathe and I can't drink the water, and you're gonna let Nestle take out of our Great Lakes for $200 a year when I can't even pay for water in our town. $200 doesn't go very far, but for them, they get millions of dollars in just, oh, okay, I can take out of they can take out of the Great Lakes, they can exploit all of our resources, but at the end of the day, if you pass this, you'll just be setting yourself up to die. And so if you feel so inclined to kill yourself, go for it.
Okay, thank you for your comments. And oh, sir. Go ahead.
A minute.
Yep, go ahead.
Ani, ajew te wad nimki benasi nindishnikas, nimki ndorum miwa wagash ndorum.
I agree.
Magizi old nang and dom jaba. From Peshabi Town, Michigan. I'm the Director of Natural Resources for the Grand Traverse Band of Ottawa and Chippewa Indians. First thing I'll say is welcome you to my ancestral homeland, which is currently known as the state of Michigan. Next thing I would like to say is, as a government tribal nation, we will have the formal consultation between the DEQ and the tribal nations. And I hope that you've heard several tonight speak about the Anishinaabe or the Native American. I hope that during our consultation you listen to our traditional ecological knowledge. We'll present science because we have biologists on staff that are every bit as qualified as yours. They went to the same universities. They have the same education. We have hydrologists as well as you do. So we will share science, but we'd ask for your respect in honoring our traditional ecological knowledge. We will have that direct consultation, so I'll save the tribe's position on Nestle for that time. I will say, Nipe, Bima Dizawin, Awin. And that means water is life. That is the viewpoint of the Grand Traverse Band. I'll also say Miigwech and Miu, means thank you, I'm done.
Okay, thank you for your comments and cooperation tonight. We appreciate your interest in the Nestle application and the time you took to be here. As previously indicated, written comments may be submitted through 5 p.m. on Friday, April 21st, 2017. The hearing is now closed, but anybody wanting that address?
Please, could you just give it out loud?
Yeah, I'll repeat it. I'll repeat it for everybody. You can email to deq-eh@michigan.gov or by mail to MDEQ, Drinking Water and Municipal Assistance Division.
I'm sorry.
Drinking Water and Municipal Assistance Division, Environmental Health Section, should be with this. P.O. Box 30421. It's Lansing, Michigan 48909 -7741.
Did you get it? Do you need the email?
Is that on your website as well, so people can find it?
Yes, it is.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you for your beautiful comments.
Thank you, everybody.
Thank you.
489-7741. So you sent me the video that you made of Jim Olsen and Liz Kirkwood, is that the last name? Cool.
There's
what? Oh, great.
Kevin, if you want to get a hold of me while you're in Michigan, here's my card.
Thank you so much.
I hope I'm not staying.
Oh, you're very welcome. Hey guys, we're going to draw this to a close. Thank you very much for being here and sharing, and thanks for your patience.
Are you going to publish this?
Yeah, it will be up on YouTube.